Hi everyone, this is Aaron from episode 1.
Hey everyone, this is Chloe from episode 3.
Hey everyone, this is Nick from episode 5.
Hi everyone, this is Chris from episode 7, and you're listening to
Queer Stories
on the Swan.
Always remember to stay fabulous.
Hi everybody, welcome to Queer Stories on the Swan, a podcast where two gay men chat and discuss all things queer in the Perth LGBTQIA+ community. I'm your host Chris.
And I'm your other host Christo, and in today's episode, we're talking to the hosts of Queer Perth, Oddy and Clint, their stories and their podcast.
It's the crossover event of the century.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
We're here for the season finale.
Woohoo! Oh my God.
Your sound cut out for a second. Is that
I was just too excited.
I am super excited too, because
oh my God.
Even it's been a few weeks since our last episode came out, because you know life has been a bit busy, but but it is our season finale. It is episode 10, and we thought we would make this one a special one, because one is the finale, because we're going to make it special. We can't have a crap finale. Game of Thrones, anyone? Kidding. Or am I? I thought, why not invite. Let's invite some people. Let's invite two very special guests. There is another podcast.
Or are they rivals?
Well, that's the thing. We will get into it when we get into it. No. Look, we are two queer podcasts that are centered in Perth.
We're all just a bunch of gay men.
Just talking about our opinions, and people tune in to listen for some reason.
I know, right?
Or okay, then like I said, two gay men. There's there's different queer identities there as well. So
yeah, sure.
We're not all a bunch of basic white
queer
gay men. Some of us are
not
a bit
all
more
queens.
Interesting. We're queens. We're queens, but different kinds of queens. But yeah, so guys, I just want to just point to our listeners for a second.
Yes.
And say thank you so much for all the support, all the comments, all the feedback, everything.
We love you.
We love you so much.
Yes.
We really, really appreciate all the wonderful support that's been coming through. It's been really, really nice. I've been having this project in my head for, basically since I started listening to podcasts. I knew that I want to start doing podcasting. Then I started radio, but radio's different enough to podcasting, but you can make podcasts out of radio shows. But I wanted to do something that was for me, but for the community as well. And I'm so happy I found you, Christo, as a co-host.
I'm so glad I could be a part of it.
and I'm so glad you are. Because I couldn't do this by myself. I really couldn't. People would just get sick of my voice. I mean, if they're not already.
Well, I'm not, and I'm still sticking around.
That's because I'm holding you at gunpoint, you fool. No, I'm not. You shame me again, and I swear. No. We are very, very. We're all happy here. We should all be happy here. It's gay is happy. Back to the old days. It was happy. We're almost happy. We definitely don't have any mental health issues or any depression or anything. What? Sorry? No? So, but yes, in all seriousness, thank you so much for the reviews, the ratings, the amount of listens. We've just about hit 800, and they'll be continuing. My God. There's support there. And of course, to all of our guests, I'm going to shout you all right now. I need the list
here we go.
Because my memory is absolutely garbage. All right, opening anchor. We've had Aaron. We've had Kieran, Chloe, Jasmine, or Jazz, Nick, Dames, Chris Barr / Chris Guest, who I kept calling him that during the episode.
Yay.
We've had River, and Tim. So thank
Yay.
you to all 9 of you. We really, really appreciate it. And soon to be 11 of you.
Yes.
And including Oddy and Clint, of course. And we are just so happy. And we've had some people listen from overseas, by the way. I'm gonna open this little thing on my laptop. I'll mention it. I'll mention Anchor. Anchor is our podcasting distributor, and we've been very, very grateful for that. So thank you, Anchor. I've got so many bookmarks on my, the little bookmark thing that you do for tabs. So many of them, and it's really hard to keep track of them now. My God, my English is bad today. I am struggling today. All right, so I'm gonna quickly shout out. Oh my God, they have changed how this is laid out. Okay, this is confusing me now. God damn it. Audience. Okay, what is audience? Okay, there we go. So we've had people from, of course, Australia, and they have been from WA, Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh my God.
The US have tuned in. We've had people from Louisiana, Virginia, Pennsylvania, California, and Texas.
Oh my God.
Yep, we've got people from Brazil, Vietnam, Denmark, the UK, in England.
Oh my God.
Yep. And what was the other place? Sorry, I had to keep zooming out, and for some reason it shows me the other planets. And also Singapore.
We're worldwide.
Well, yeah, anyone can listen to us. So that's always a good thing.
That is so cool. Oh
it is absolutely fantastic. So I think we've done all the little shout outs and the things. And of course, yes, we know that there are people who want to be on the show. Don't you worry.
You're coming up.
We will be back for season 2.
Yes.
We wouldn't say it'd be end of season 1 if we didn't have plans for a season 2. And we do have plans for season 2.
Yes.
Nothing's set in solid yet, but we do have plans.
We have time to
We
plan.
know we're coming back. We will and we will be taking some time to plan and come back when we are fully ready to come back.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very excited, and I think this has been a great first chapter for Queer Stories on this one.
Yes. It's been a great adventure.
All right, Christo, do you have anything else to say before we throw to our 2 guests for the day, for the episode?
No.
That's everything? Not even a thank you?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
I was getting there. Oh my God.
Hurry up.
Sorry, I'm holding you up. No, just seriously, thank you everyone who's listened and tuned in and reviewed and all the beautiful things. And stick around and help us see through season 2.
Yes. And
if you want to be on, let us know.
Please DM us. DM the Queer Stories on the Swan page, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We do have a TikTok. It's mainly just been behind the scenes clips, but I do want to do some more stuff there. Anyway, we'll discuss with Christo. Or message myself or Christo. Really, really appreciate all your support. Okay, Christo, it's time for the crossover event of the century.
The
2 queer-oriented podcasts are coming together for our season finale. So, Christo.
Hey.
Our guests have arrived. Representing the Queer Perth.
Who we've got, but it's
representing the Queer Perth Podcast, we have got Oddy and Clint. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Howdy. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear. For context, we have just spent the last, 10, 15 minutes trying to get Clint into the Zoom call. Oddy's going, sort your shit. But we finally got it. So
it's like they've never used Zoom before, honestly.
Actually, it was just me umming with where I wanted to be.
We've only been planning this for like a few weeks, and everyone's gotten plans and everyone's getting COVID. I mean, I haven't yet, but we'll
right.
Look, I'm just waiting till I get it. But here we are. We have got the crossover episode between Queer Perth and Queer Stories on the Swan together at last.
Very exciting.
First of all, gents, I want to say thank you for the support that you've been giving us. We've not been blind, or in this case, deaf to it. It's been really, really nice to hear the shout outs, the answer to questions, just the general support as well. Shout out to your producer Scott as well for proposing this crossover event, and also just being just a great person to talk to. And when we're promoting our podcast, before you guys stole our idea, I'm kidding. So we really, really appreciate it. So thank you for coming on, guys. So is there anything you want to say to us now that we're finally in the room together, in a Zoom room together?
It's great to be here, and we've been very conscious of the fact that we aren't competition to each other. We're a co-support of each other. So that was something very important to us when we were doing our podcast, to make sure we promoted you as much as doing our own thing. So
absolutely.
Clint, what do you think?
Clint? Yep.
I don't really have anything to add.
Okay.
I just love listening to your podcast because they're different to ours and cover different topics and have a different perspective, and it's all just
thank you. Yeah,
adds more to Queer WA.
Yeah,
it definitely does that.
You guys,
and that's ultimately what the two shows. I mean, I know from the fact that that was the idea with this show. It was to showcase the queer community in Perth, because Perth in general gets kind of just thrown to the wayside. People think Australia from foreign countries. It's always the eastern states. It's always Sydney. It's always Melbourne. Sydney is the gay central for queer people. At Oxford Yard and everything. I'm not Oxford Yard. Sorry.
Oxford Street?
Where's that?
No. I study a TAFE at Leederville, and there's Oxford Yard Cafe. They're a client. We have to constantly shout them out. So every second word is like Oxford Yard on there. Sorry.
Shout out to Oxford Yard.
Oxford Street.
Oxford Street.
Oxford Street in Sydney. That's like the main hub of Aussie queer culture with Mardi Gras and everything. But we want to shine a bit more of a light onto the Perth scene, and you guys have definitely done that. And we've definitely had people that have loved being on the show, people who want to still be on the show. So they're like on a list for the season 2 guests. And I'm just really happy that we finally get to collaborate. And this feels like a moment in history, guys.
Yeah.
not to toot our own horns.
Yeah. Very cool.
But no, I really appreciate that. I had a point in my head that I was going to say while I was rambling. Christo, do you want to say anything before, so I can get my thinking back on?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I do have something though that I'm going to bring up.
Ooh.
Stay fabulous.
Yeah. Okay. So. Stay Fabulous.
Let's talk about that.
Stay Fabulous was not invented by us necessarily, because
that's invented by the gays. But
how long? So many years. And again, we fully support. In all seriousness, we do support each other's podcast.
Yeah. For sure.
But what the hell, guys? We say Stay Fabulous, and then you freaking take that from us. As soon as I heard Oddy said it, I'm like, oh, you and your mischievous, sexy voice. How dare.
My thirst was, they listen to us.
How about bye, Felicia?
Bye, Felicia. I mean, I like that too.
So we, do you know what? It had only been until, I think it was the week before, that I hadn't listened to that last end bit of your podcast.
Oh, okay.
Like I listened to your podcast, and then it was only like, I think I was driving in the car, and I like just let it play. And so I then heard Christo saying Stay Fabulous. And I was like, oh, they've started saying Stay Fabulous. And then I went back to the first one and listened to you say Stay Fabulous. I was like, oh shit. All along. And when we first did our first one, we were talking about, we brainstormed, and we were like, how should we end it? Like, what's the tagline that we should say? And we went through all these different options, and we were like, Stay Fabulous sounds really cool. What a great idea. And so don't worry, we've decided that we're changing ours.
Oh, no. You know what? It's not necessary.
I love it.
Fine. You know what? Stay Fabulous is like the, I guess, the generic queer send-off, you know?
Yeah.
I say it even when I'm not even doing podcast stuff. I just thought it was really, really funny. I was like,
it is.
Oh, you bastard. And you know what? You brainstormed it. Christo and I literally came up with it when we were recording the pilot. That was not rehearsed. So I suppose we can share it. So there's the
choice. Really great tagline.
Yeah, it is. And why can't we share it? We're only
Hey, at least, yeah, we can
Yeah.
all say it at the end together.
It's consistent,
Ooh.
you know.
Okay, so yeah, like so Oddy and Clint, you could be like the lows, Christo and I could be the highs, or whoever can do. We can like harmonize it. It'd be great. We should do that.
Beautiful, love it.
All right, so
Uh,
we've gotten the extra little banter out the way. So, following the formula of our show, we are queer stories on this one. It's about time someone tells us the story. So, Oddy, Clint, who wants to go
Who's
first?
first?
Let Clint
What
go
story
first.
do you want to hear?
Clint has so
yeah.
many stories.
I mean, if
He
you've
just
heard
needs
about-
to look through his
Yeah,
catalog.
just a ghost story, or
If-
you know, just
Are you alive? Are you corporeal? So I guess we can just start from when you knew that you were gay as fuck. no, let us know of when you
You're a gay.
realized your queer identity.
I'll go first.
Sure.
For me, it was ever since forever, really. I mean, I didn't know what it was. I just knew, I think I was like maybe 3 or 4 years old, and I knew that I had an attraction to boys. And at that point in time, I identified as a boy. Didn't know that it was like a gay thing or what have you. I just knew that I liked boys. And growing up, there wasn't really anything out there about the gay identity or queer identity. And all I was exposed to was boys like girls, girls like boys. And in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, but I don't feel that way about girls. Like, I just want to be their friend. I want to do what they're doing, but I like boys. And yeah, and I think it wasn't until I was in my teens when school did like safe sex education, and there was like not even half a sentence about, men who like men, that's homosexuality, end of story, and moved on to reproduction.
Well,
Yeah,
my-
and then it wasn't-
that beats my school. My school didn't even mention it. Didn't even come up.
neither.
And I was like too afraid to like look it up on the internet. Thankfully, we did have internet at that stage.
Yeah.
And yeah, but there still just wasn't a lot of stuff. I don't even think, like Ellen wasn't even around then.
Wow.
There just wasn't stuff around. And for me also, I think it's something that we're covering off in a topic, or we have covered off, is for me, cultural identity also comes into it.
Yep.
And culturally, there is like a transgender identity so I grew up in Papua New Guinea for the most part.
Yep.
And so that's one of my cultures, but that's the culture that I grew up around most. And so there was this sense of something other than heterosexuality, but didn't really know too much about it. And yeah, so there was that, but there was a bit of cultural context to it, not really the Western context. And it wasn't really till I moved to New Zealand to go to boarding school there. I think I was 14 going on 15. And then in New Zealand, obviously, it was, there was more information about, and there was exposure to more like Western ideas of it. And in New Zealand, there's also cultural context. There's Māori queer identities. There's Polynesian, like through Samoan, Tongan cultural identities in the queer identities. So yeah, I probably came to terms with myself, my identity there. And I actually went on to facilitate a queer youth group in New Zealand. And I had a whole bunch of young ones that were kind of coming to terms with their identities and then coming out to their parents. And then inevitably they'd ask me, oh, what was it like for you to come out? And at that point in time, I mean, I was 20-ish. I hadn't even come out to my family or parents, but here I was facilitating a queer youth group and helping all these young ones like come to terms with their identity and come out to their family. And did that for a few years. And I did get around to coming out to my family, and I've been loud and proud ever since.
Love that. So good.
Yeah. But I was a late bloomer in that regard.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've talked to a lot of people that have, bloomed rather late.
Yeah.
And everyone does their own time. Was there any difficulties throughout your realization? Was there any social? Well, first of all, social anxiety, but also was there any conflict with anyone?
So, I suppose I should go back to growing up in Papua New Guinea. So, to put a bit more context around that, in Papua New Guinea, it's illegal to be homosexual. It's illegal to, and people do get, what's the term we use, unalived on almost weekly basis, and often by their own family. Yeah, so it's quite horrific, and I was aware of that kind of as I got older, even though I went to boarding school in New Zealand at the age of 15, I still went home every semester or every term sometimes. So home was still in Papua New Guinea, and it wasn't until I was 18 when my family moved to New Zealand. So then I was no longer going back to Papua New Guinea, which is sad because that is still home to me. But and still to this day, it's not illegal, but it's criminal to be homosexual.
Right.
And there's a lot of stigma, and the church has a lot to do with that. And yeah, it's very risky for people. And I have family that have since come out, whether they're homosexual or transgender, or just anything other than cisgendered heterosexual. You have to be very careful who you tell, because that people might take action to do harm to you.
Oh my gosh.
And stay tuned to our topic on our next episode, where I go into more about what I've been doing.
Oh, okay. Well, there's your little teaser for you. We'll send you the audio recording so you can put that in there.
to highlight the real issues about the queer identity in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
So, and then I had a lot of self-doubts and just worry that I'd be disowned by my own family, because the older I got, the more I heard of all these stories. And when I eventually came out to my family, there were no issues. They were they were sad for me that I didn't feel that I could have come out to them sooner. But yeah, they were nothing but love, and have been nothing but love ever since.
So lovely.
Yeah. But that internalized fear of being kicked out of home, and if you grew up like I did, where your family is your core, that can be a real challenge to overcome.
That'd be terrifying. But I'm so glad that it was nothing but, like you said, nothing but showered with love. Sorry. But I'm so glad to hear that. I think maybe we'll just divert to Oddy, because I want to ask the ending questions to both of you. So Oddy, are you ready to do your version?
I'm ready.
Cool. Yay. Let's go for it.
So I was also a late bloomer. I didn't really properly come to terms with my homosexuality until I was around about 26.
Oh wow.
However, there was a journey. So looking back, I was a big old flamer from very young. There's a video that my sister and I, like a little amateur video of us with our friends doing a little a skit that we created, and I'm so effeminate and so just homosexual that I'm like, how did no one pick that? And if they did, why did no one tell me?
Make me the centerpiece, damn it.
And I was,
how old were you in that?
10, 12, something like that.
Cute.
So and my journey, I think the reason why I was so confused and didn't really figure things out was because my battle was the fact that I can appreciate a beautiful woman. I can look at a woman or someone of a different gender and say, wow, they are beautiful. They are stunning.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm attracted to them. Like I must be, heterosexual or whatever. And not having anyone around me that was different to that didn't really help me go, oh, okay, there are different ways of looking at things. And it wasn't until I could come to terms with the fact that I'm attracted to all sorts of people, but that doesn't mean that I'm sexually attracted to someone in the same way.
Yep.
And so that took a little while. I think I also, because it was so confusing, I kind of ignored it and compartmentalized it as just something that I didn't understand and wasn't ready to. So in my past life, I worked for a financial institution, which is where Clint and I met. And I used to work in a call center, and there were new recruits that came in all the time. And that's where I became friends with a person who identified as a lesbian. And we became really good friends. And, we bonded. And then there was a guy that started working there maybe a year into me being there. And he was very openly gay. And he then bonded with us as well. And we all started hanging out. We went out for after work drinks and all that kind of thing. And we went to the court one night, and I very vividly remember I was very drunk on the dance floor. And he kissed me. And I liked it, and it was great.
I kissed
the boy. Same thing popped into my head.
Oddy is just already done with this.
And I'm out.
Sorry, please continue.
That's okay. So that night was hectic because he ended up trying to take me to Steamworks, and we weren't allowed into Steamworks. I've never heard of Steamworks before, and I was like, where are we going? So me, who grew up south of the river, and I was in the city, being taken to this place I didn't know. And then he ended up, because we were both too drunk, they wouldn't let us in. So then he was like, oh, let's go back to my place, which was in Girraween, north of the river.
Oh gosh.
Where I had no idea where I was. So this must have been like 2 a.m, I think. And we went back. He ended up talking to his housemate for a while. Then we went to bed, we got naked. We started getting there, and then he passed out. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, is it me? Like, why is he passed out? What's happened? And so I just very quietly put my clothes on, ordered a cab, and left. And then didn't talk to him for like 3 months. But that was like the catalyst. So there was like a whole journey from that. I was 22 then. I then thought, because of this whole confusion of, well, I definitely am attracted to women. But there's this new thing that I'm enjoying. So I identified as bisexual for a little while. And I think I still kind of am like gay with a bi-curious kind of vibe. But again, for me, it's easy to just classify myself, if I needed to, as gay. Like primarily I'm attracted to men, both physically and sexually. So that was me coming to terms with it. And then coming out to my family, like I had come out to a few friends and stuff once I had become comfortable with it. And then it just got hard to lie to the people I love and pretend to be something that I wasn't. So my second nephew was born when I was 28. And it was Christmas Day, and I was holding him, and we were all sitting around, and all the women were like, oh, when are you gonna find a girl of your own and have your own babies and blah blah blah. And it was so gut-wrenching. And at that point I knew I had to tell them, and I chickened out, and I, like, a few days later, called my sister rather than doing it in person. I called her, and we talked through it. And because it was so unfamiliar to any of us, and my mum had only seen how hard it was for people who identified as gay or homosexual, that it was just a matter of just accepting it over time. My sister, there was no rejection of it, but she cried, and so did my mum when I told her a few weeks after that, only because they didn't want my life to be harder than it had to be.
Yeah.
And my justification to them was, it's harder to pretend not to be gay than to actually be gay. I'm so comfortable in who I am.
Yeah.
That it's not like I'm willing to face into it, because that's who I am, and I know that. Yeah. And so it's been a little bit of not a nasty battle and not a rejection, but just helping them come to terms with who I was. And it's been years now, and like I talk to my mum and sister, like they're my best friends, and we talk about boys, and I talk about my heartbreak all the time, and like we're so open, and like I say things to just freak my mum out with sex, and like it's just fun. It's just so funny. And my like another journey was when my sister had her boys, like she's got 2 boys, and going through school and being brought up, and like just hearing them, like my mum and sister, with their conversation about, oh, have you got a girlfriend, or are you going to get a wife, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, can you not put that into their head that that's their only option? And like my mum and my sister are so open and willing. And like the biggest win for me was a few weeks ago, or maybe like a few months ago, maybe, like my we were all talking about something to do with someone that we know as a trans person, or just trans people in general. And without me saying anything, my mum was just so like advocating and just like such an ally. And I'm like, who are you? I'm so proud of you.
But are you okay?
And so but it was just such a beautiful moment to hear my mum just be so on board. And she's always been like that. It's just her fear of having life harder than it has to be for us. My dad, so with my dad, it's a little bit of a different story, because my parents divorced when I was 19, and it wasn't the neatest divorce, and so I didn't have a really good relationship with my dad for a long time. Still kept in touch and everything, but I decided to not tell him for a little bit longer. And I don't know if that was I'm not sure what that was out of. But when I did tell him, I was seeing someone at the time, and I decided that I was going to bring this person to Christmas lunch. And so I called my dad again. I chickened out. I did all of my phone call, all of my coming out over the phone. So it was big wuss out. But called him, and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm bringing my boyfriend to Christmas. And he's like, what? And he was like, oh, okay, no worries. So it was a very quick phone call. But then at Christmas lunch, all that happened was like the guy that I brought and I were outside, and Dad comes out, and he puts his arm around me, and he says, are you happy? And I said, yep, I am. And he said, good, that's all that matters to me.
Oh, that's sweet.
I remember you telling us about that on your episode, and that honestly made me choke up. So
yeah.
And so sweet.
And honestly, just him saying that, I think that was the start of our friendship reforming. And now again, like I said, that my mum and my sister are like my best mates. My dad is as well. He's just a rock for me.
in
everything. He supports me in everything I do and every fuck up I make. Every mess up I make. And yeah, is just always there for me to just brainstorm any crazy idea I have. So he's also willing to understand and learn, and like he's very old school with a lot of ways of thinking, but he's also very open to he's just so not judgmental at all.
Nice.
Which is a rare find these days.
Yeah.
So I have a very fortunate position where I have a very supportive network within my family. So
right. You know what, I like to just point out, I'm not trying to insert myself in the thing or anything, but we have very similar circumstances, Oddy. We're both south of the river, boys, so we're about southerners. But we also too. Yeah, you're a south too. Though you're more like in the hillbilly area, Christo.
I grew up in Rockingham, but now I'm in the east.
Exactly what I said. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm not too far over here. But like in terms of like the family coming out, the coming out a little bit later, the admiring someone, not necessarily sexually attracted wise, but admiring like a beautiful woman. Like I had girlfriends because I thought they were extremely gorgeous, but when it comes to like the sexual stuff, it would just be like, I don't know. So it's actually kind of nice to hear that from someone else, because I think I understand, and I'm sure a lot of people who are listening understand that too. I'm just going to let Clint back in. Again, Clint has been Clint's been the problematic one. Not him personally, it's his Zoom. So
the problematic child. There's always one.
There's always one. Always the artsy one, the one dying his hair. Okay, we can see you again. Okay, Clint, speak for us.
Hello.
Hey!
Second time.
Hallelujah.
Had to restart the phone again.
Oh, that's all right. Geez. Look, it only took 2 times this time, not 5 or whatever it was last time. Go back to my window. All right, cool. So is that everything from the stories that we want to highlight here?
I think that's the most important stuff from me.
Excellent. And I also know you probably want to say some details for your own podcast, so we don't have to get everything. If you like what you're hearing so far, give us a follow on our socials at Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, give us a rating/review on whatever platform you get your podcasts. Now, back to the show. So I just want to say a few things I've noticed and just some great pointers and great lessons that I think people can learn from your podcast. So first of all, I love your production. So you have a producer, Scott. Is that his music that you guys are using?
No, he's found some.
Oh, okay, different one. Yeah. I thought it was like Scott's own music, but that'd be great. But yeah, I do like you highlight like what to do in Perth when it comes to sex, whether it be anxiety or interviewing people at the Freedom Centre. I think you guys have done a really good job in just showcasing the venues that people can look to. You know, we always ask our guests like their advice about what they when it comes to their own identity, but I don't think we have enough info out there about how people can find solutions to their problems, because it feels so isolating when you don't know what to do, when you're not surrounded by people who are in the queer community or who don't. Does what I'm saying make sense? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
and that was something that we're really setting out to have conversations about things that are relevant and are prevalent to anyone, no matter where you are in your journey, and just making it okay to talk about it. And so we're definitely continuing to brainstorm different ideas, and we also ask for community questions so that it's not just us making up stuff, it's things that people are asking us about as well. And also ensuring that it's okay to ask it and it's okay to be confused about at different things, because everyone's different and everyone has their own path to forge. And if we can either talk about things so that you know that it's not just a weird thought that one person has, or we can point you in the direction of people that you can talk to or deal with, then that's important to us. So
no, I very much agree with that. Even as a community, there's definitely stereotypes that people can subscribe to, and then there's times where it can feel a bit too isolated in a world where politics really tends to throw a lot of queer people under the bus, especially trans at the moment. I think it's important that we do show the other side of what you do belong to and how we can belong to and how we can improve as a community, because there are times where it does feel a bit like we're stepping backwards. But when we have stuff like this, two podcasts coming together, or Oddy with your Perth Gay Social Club, Clint when you're facilitating our queer youth, I think that's something that should always be highlighted. And I think I think Christo and I want to achieve that with our podcast. We're actually brainstorming a few other things, like bit of Queer Perth news. So not necessarily ripping you guys off, but we also want to get into like the history of some of our clubs that we have here, some of our allies that we have here. We've got people who really want to showcase their side, but also other things in the community as well. So, and I think it's great that you two and Scott and Queer Perth in general are doing that as well. So I'm very happy that we can collaborate on this kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. And if I can just add my 2 cents, I think for us, definitely having Scott, because this is his baby, this was his brainchild. He started queerperth.com initially and put content on there, and that was the main platform for a while, and did basically what we're trying to do on the podcast is inspired by the website. So you can go on the website and see interviews that we've done in the past with people in the community about particular events or particular groups. And in those interviews, there's a formula there, and so we've taken that formula and expanded on it. And we did a lot of brainstorming sessions initially. And I think Oddy and my background, like we come from that corporate world where you plan out things and you have structure and you have like a vision and a goal and all those kind of things.
I'm just entering that space now, and I know what you mean.
So that really helped us form the idea, and we try to stay true to kind of what our vision is for the podcast and for Queer Perth, and that helps us steer us where we go. And we get requests, or we have ideas to interview all sorts of people from around the community, but it always comes back to what is our vision, what is our objective for the podcast.
Exactly. And
Scott's,
I think
sorry, Scott's amazing at being able to lead us in the right direction, and he's so open to us just defining it ourselves, but then goes, this is really the direction I want to go in, and it's mainly just, yes, we've got some heavy topics, but also we want to make it fun. So make it fun and touch on things, but make it fun.
I agree.
Because it's easy to just get bogged down in the seriousness of everything, but it's okay to laugh about it too. So
yeah, definitely great. And I think with podcasting now, because podcasting I'm going on multiple tangents here. It's just nice to have two podcasts coming together and talk about this. With podcasting becoming more of a prevalent thing in the world of streaming, I think it's important to have that easy access, because it's all hard to find. We have so much, which is good, but it can be hard to zero in on what's for you. And I think a podcast environment does allow for that, so it doesn't feel too, and of course it's just an expansion of Queer Perth for you guys. Whereas us two, Christo and I, we wanted to do this because it was just a passion project. But our intentions are aligned, and Sorry, I just thought we'd get away from stroking Scott's ego for a second. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He totally deserves
Just
it.
stroke your
Totally deserves it. He's listening to it going, oh, yes, talk about me more. Yes. Hopefully we'll get to see him soon with a, I don't know, do we want to mention the meeting? I guess we could. We should.
Yeah.
The Marco Grounds one. Because so Christo and I and you guys from Queer Perth, we're going to be making an appearance at the Perth, correct me if I'm wrong, Perth LGBTI plus professionals return night. Because I think, Oddy, because you did that for your event sign off. So I'm looking to you to make sure I got that right. But yeah, we'll be attending that next weekend. Whenever this episode comes out, it's coming up. So if you want to have a talk to us, have a chat to us, then please do. Hopefully I'll be able to speak English better then. But
good luck.
Okay.
All right, cool. So of course we have to do Christo, do you want to ask the socials questions to both of our guests, or
so would you like to tell everyone your social pages, personal or business, whichever one you feel comfortable?
Flawless, Christo.
Oh,
I'm trying to get your voice in more, Dal. People keep telling me that we need to hear more Christo, and I'm like,
I know, and I'm just so happy just sitting here. But
okay, if that makes sense to you guys,
Did you want
to
my
answer
number,
that
Christo?
oh, if that comes up, I'm not going to argue.
This is meant to be professional. No, it's fine. I don't care. I don't care what you guys do. Yeah, professional networking. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Sure. Clint, do you want to give us the socials?
Mine or Queer Perth one?
Look, either goes. Please go on. Anything.
Well, so you can find me on all the socials at Clinty Minty. That's my social media, username, avatar.
Yeah.
So that's CLINTYMINTY. It's a family nickname that I've had ever since forever.
I love it.
Cute.
Yeah, and it just translated nicely into the social media kind of
the
presence.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, Queer Perth is at Queer Perth on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. Oh, and I think we're on TikTok, maybe.
I'll have to double check.
Space.
Yeah.
Cool. And Oddy,
as
do you
well
want
as queerperth.com.
Oh, yes. Of course, yes. Is that everything?
And from me, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Oddy83. So ODDY83. I'm also on Twitter, which is at IanOdlam83. But that's full of NFT crap, so choose wisely. But also you mentioned the Perth Gay Social Club, which is my business where I organize events for everyone in the LGBTI community to come together and socialize, make new friends. So it's perfect for anyone who's single, in a couple, new to Perth, just wanting to expand their social circle. A lot of people have made close friends from it, which is really good. So that is at Perth Gay Social Club or perthgaysocialclub.com.au.
Nice.
Excellent.
I need to come to one of the events.
Oh, I think
OnlyFans.
Do you have an OnlyFans, Oddy?
So
wait,
funny.
hang on, where's my phone?
I was gonna say, I think you generate some revenue. I'm just saying. Was that subtle enough here? Okay. And Oddy Clint, do you have any advice for just anyone in the queer community, people who might have shared a similar experience?
I do.
These are hard questions. Go, Oddy, take it away.
Okay, go Oddy then.
My advice would be that things can be hard, things can be serious, but don't be so hard on yourself. Things will come in time. Talk to the right people, but also listen to your own instincts and your own gut. Do things when you're right, when you're ready, when you're comfortable to. But all in all, don't take it so seriously. Like, just enjoy yourself, just enjoy the ride and forget about it, what it means. Just be safe, be healthy, and look after yourself.
Ooh, excellent. I can listen to you say that all day. Clint, what about you?
My advice would be, well, we've only got one life to live, so make it a good one. When the timing's right, do what you need to do, but live your life for you. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Damn, it was right there. It was a perler too.
I was going to put like an intermission music in the middle of the thing. Monty Python.
Elevator music.
30 minutes later.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to say was forgive a little. So don't hold on to things so much. Like, people make mistakes. People aren't perfect.
Yeah.
Just forgive a little. Have a little bit of forgiveness in your heart. Don't forget. Definitely don't forget things, but just forgive and move on.
I agree. It's a hard thing to do, but it is important in the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clint, has that helped you at all, or just make things worse? Look,
if I think about it, I'll put it on our episode.
Yeah. Like send me like a voice note, and I'll slip it in.
I'll plug you. I'll plug your podcast. And
there you go.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're good. I think we have done an amazing crossover event.
Yes.
So we'll premiere this when we premiere it, and I'm just so happy we finally did this.
Yes.
And I hope Scott's happy too. So thank you so much for both of you.
Thank you
to come onto our show for our season finale.
Yeah.
And congratulations on your first season.
Thank you. We're taking a much needed break to reintroduce new things, get a better quality photo, maybe get myself into better shape for some photo shoots. I'll start an OnlyFans for the podcast so we can get a bit more revenue. I'm kidding.
Adam Lambert's keen to get involved.
Oh, yeah. that man can do whatever he wants to me.
I agree.
He is beautiful. Anything else that people want to add? Anything else?
No, you guys are awesome. Just keep it up.
Thank you so much.
So are you.
The feelings entirely mutual. Clint, have you thought of that thing yet, or are you still? That's it. That's all right. Moments passed anyway. Thank you so much. We will, of course, still be supporting your podcast and Queer Perth in general, and we'll be seeing you both in person very, very soon. And hopefully we can do this again. This was fun. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
all right.
3, 2, 1.
Stay.
Oh my god. I don't know what you're doing. That's not fair. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's actually time this out.
Should we do it again?
Yeah.
Please. Okay. On Clint's countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Stay fabulous. That didn't work. Okay. You know what? I've got some editing to do. So yeah, that's fine. I'm super happy with that. Excellent. All right, guys. We'll
thank you
let
so
you go.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank
See you
you.
next
Bye.
week.
Anytime. See ya.
See ya. Thank you for listening to Queer Stories on the Swan. You can leave a review or a rating for us wherever you get your podcast.
You can find us on our socials on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
I am Chris.
And I'm Christo.
And stay
Stay
fabulous.
fabulous.